Hey everyone, hope you guys are all doing well. In this video, we're gonna be talking about the Never Summer ProtoSlinger. This is a new board on the Never Summer line for the 2021 season, and it's the evolution of the Funslinger. So if you were a fan of that board, I think you're really gonna like the changes they made for the ProtoSlinger. And in this video, I'm gonna break down all the tech and I'll share my thoughts on how it felt out on snow as well. All right, like the Funslinger, the ProtoSlinger is a freestyle focused snowboard on the Never Summer lineup. It's an asymmetrical true twin snowboard. So it's gonna ride exactly the same in either direction to give you that freestyle versatility and feel natural on switch landings. But since it is an asim board, it's gonna have a designated heel side edge. And the reason for that is that asim snowboards have a slightly tighter heel side cut radius. So you're gonna wanna make sure that you're mounting your bindings up correctly on this board, whether you're regular or goofy. It's a pretty mellow asim and it feels really natural when you're carving, whether that's on your toes or on your heels. The ProtoSlinger is going to run an all-new camber profile from Never Summer. It's one of the biggest changes from the Funslinger, and they're calling it the Shockwave camber profile. So it's still going to be rocker dominant, rocker between the feet with camber underfoot, going to give you that overall rocker dominant feel to it. But with the Shockwave profile, they've reduced the amount of rocker between the feet by about 1/3 and given it more camber. So it's gonna be a little bit more stable, gonna have a little bit more snap and energy to it. And I think that contributes to giving it a slightly stiffer feel, although the flex is still gonna be very similar to what you remember from the Funslinger. It also runs some carbon in the layup. You're gonna find two V-shaped strips of carbon in both the nose and the tail to help you find more energy and more snap in those camber zones for ollies and just giving the board a little bit more pop, as well as their power grip side cut, which is a pretty mellow added contact point to give you a little bit of help if you find yourself on ice or firm snow. And the last thing I wanna highlight tech-wise is that the ProtoSlinger does still run a sintered base. It's a harder, more durable base material, not gonna be as easy to scratch up out there on the mountain, but you do wanna make sure you're waxing it regularly. Stay on top of that to keep that nice glide that you're used to. Sintered bases do tend to be faster compared to an extruded base as well. Like I mentioned earlier, I do think those longer camber zones underfoot give this board a slightly stiffer feel compared to the Funslinger, but it's still gonna be very close to a mid-flex, maybe just on the softer side of medium. And there's a couple things related to that and the rocker dominant profile I wanna touch on. One being pop. With those rocker dominant shapes, there's definitely like a different sweet spot for pop for ollies or side hits or anything like that. You kind of have to get to the end of that rocker dominant profile. You can kind of lean towards the nose or tail with like very little effort because of that overall rockered shape. And then once you get to the end of the profile, you can start loading up tension in the board and you can still get some pretty significant pop out of the Funslinger. I thought there was a lot of fun out there on side hits, hitting the jumps out at Keystone and ollieing onto the features and rails as well. And that shape also gives you some nice flex zones for butters and presses as well. You're gonna find that right where that rocker transitions into camber in between your feet. Whenever you're doing presses or butter tricks or leaned into the nose or tail, you're gonna find that it hinges right there at that point and creates a really nice tall looking press for you. So if you're into that type of riding, that's definitely gonna help you out for that. And also helps to give you a little bit more leverage to load up more tension in the nose and tail for ollies to help you find a little bit more pop. This isn't a bad board for carving, although I'd say it definitely is most at home in the park. If you're out there with your friends doing some park laps and then decide maybe you want to do some exploring, you're doing some big laps from top to bottom, it's really not going to hold you back for more casual riding, but it's definitely not a high speed charging kind of board. If you start to really push it, you can find the board's limits, but like I said, for the most part, it's really not going to hold you back at all out there. Overall, I'd say this board has a somewhat playful, loose feel to it, stemming primarily from that flex and the rocker dominant profile. You're gonna find that you can turn really quickly on this board. As soon as you get it on edge, it's gonna send you into a carve with minimal effort. Really quick transitions from heel to toe as well. Gonna give you that more fine-tuned turning ability in the park as you're setting up for features or coming off the lip of a jump. I think that also helps getting rotation on jumps, just being able to get it to turn so quickly and easily. But overall, it just has a really comfortable, natural feeling in the park. Whether you're riding rails or riding jumps, it's gonna be very versatile. You can have a lot of fun on smaller features. You can get some nice tall presses going. I felt that rocker between the feet give a nice smooth glide if you're getting sideways on rail features or on boxes. So if you're gonna be out there doing more freestyle focused riding, you're interested in progressing in the park, this is the board that's gonna be able to take you through the small features up to the large features comfortably, confidently, and help with your progression. I think the two biggest compromises are really powder performance and stability at higher speeds and in those high impact situations, but it's gonna be a capable snowboard pretty much anywhere you take it on the mountain. Most at home in the park, definitely a good choice for a more freestyle focused rider, whether you're experienced or just starting out looking to progress with it. I think the ProtoSlinger is gonna be a good choice. So I've always really enjoyed the Funslinger every time I've had a chance to get on it. I've recommended it here in the past. It just has a really natural, comfortable feel to it. Doesn't really take much time to get used to it for me. And I feel the same way about the ProtoSlinger, but just a little bit more stability with the new changes. If any of that sounds like your style of riding, make sure to check out the Never Summer ProtoSlinger. I'm gonna have it linked down in the description if you wanna read more about it. If you've had a chance to ride this board or if you own it, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Leave any questions for me down there as well. And if you got some value out of this video, please make sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel for more snowboard reviews. I really appreciate it, guys. It helps me out. And I will see you in a new board review soon. Later, guys.